Welcome to This Week in Morgan County. I'm your host, Russell Mokhiber. Our guest this week is Connie Perry. Connie is the president of the Morgan County Public Library here in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. Connie, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
There's a crisis at the library. What is it?
Our crisis is a money crisis. When we originally built the library received $33,000 a year from the school levy and $18,000 a year from the county commission. We then got a grant from the Library Commission for $57,000, and that made our match. So the money from those three things.
That's a state library commission?
It's the state library, West Virginia Library Commission.
Okay.
But you have to match that grant with public funds from your community. So right now we're in crisis because in this last school levy, the library was not included. So we lost $33,000.
A year?
A year. And then the county commission had agreed to fund us at $28,000 and notified us just recently that we were only going to get $18,000. So,
Why did they go from agreeing to not agreeing?
well, I assume it had to do with the funds available. But we just got that notification. So now we have to match the $57,000, which means we have to raise $39,000 to match our grant compared to what we have. So we're doing some fundraisers and things, but we are in desperate need of the funds to just have continuing operating money.
And tell us a little bit about the history of the library. By the way, who owns the Morgan County Public Library?
Well, the county commissioners own the Morgan County Public Library, and they formed a building, it's a building commission for all the buildings in Morgan County that's owned by the county commission, and they're owned under the title of the Morgan County Building Commission. We did that so that we could get a loan to build the library, a $500,000 loan. And at that time, the commissioners could not commit to that long a term of a debt unless they sold bonds, which they didn't do. We got the loan from USDA.
And the library was built in
1998 is when we began.
Where was the library before that, where it is now?
The library had one room in the Morgan County Courthouse.
And when the library was built, it was transferred over to...
Yes, we moved the books and the things that was in that library down to our present location.
Now, people are still reading. I mean, people on
Yes.
our staff here were saying that they spend time in the stacks and so forth. A lot of people use the Morgan County Public Library.
Well, it's kind of interesting. We have a population of between 16,000 and 17,000 people. And the library, in any given year, we have at least 15,000 encounters a year of people coming in using our computers and getting books and swapping books. But we also cater to children a lot, and we have a lot of movies and games and all that children can get and take home at no cost to use. And we run a literacy program. Our computers was donated by organization, Bill Gates, his foundation, and they donated our computers and paid to have them installed. And but the law says that we have to have a full-time person present when those computers are being used. That's the law in West Virginia. So that we have to have a full-time person to do that. So we have a problem keeping enough employees there to do everything we're obligated to do by the state law.
Now, the county commission owns the building, and I guess they own the library.
They own the library.
And the question is, and they said they would fund it for up to $28,000 or $28,000 this year, but they're
Correct.
not. They cut it by $10,000.
Yes.
And your understanding, the reason they cut it is because they just don't have the money?
Well, that's my understanding, that they just don't have the funds in their budget to fund us anymore this year. I'm hoping that when they set their budget for the following year that they will include us for a larger sum of money, especially since the people of this community came together and built the library. And the debt we incurred of $500,000, we paid off in 10 years. It was a 30-year loan. So the people of the community they have proven their commitment to that library. And I feel, and a lot of other people feel, that the county commissioners should make a larger commitment to support the library.
Now, let's talk a little bit about, you're also on the executive committee of the Democratic Party, so let's talk a little bit about why the county is running out of money. What's your understanding?
Well, one thing, the assessments have gone down on real estate property across the counties, as they've done in all counties.
Well, it's gone down. You're talking about since 2008, the recession, the real estate recession?
Yes.
It's not recovered?
No, it's not, and it takes about 3 years for that to show up in the county's budget because they only assess, there's 3 magisterial districts at the present time, and everyone gets assessed every 3 years. They do one a year. So they're always behind in their assessments when they come in to bring in. So that's one reason why they're short of money now.
Have you seen a turn back up in real estate around here?
I've seen a turn in houses. The unimproved land is actually at an all-time low in Morgan County. Some lots that was in very nice subdivisions and all that sold maybe for $50,000 5 years ago are now selling for $25,000. So the land has not seen an uptick as houses has, but houses have come back, and vacation homes on the river and that type of real estate has returned, but not unimproved land.
Okay. Well, what part of the county's budget is real estate? Or do we know? Or is there any other source of income where they can get money?
Well, the only other source of income would be corporate businesses that pay into the county. We do get a small amount of the coal severance tax that goes throughout the whole state. But as you know, Morgan County don't have a lot of businesses to contribute to that. So commercial property is a lot of their budget, but nothing compared to just residential housing. That's the biggest block of money that comes to the county commission.
Are you a native of Morgan County?
I came to Morgan County in 1955 when I was 15 years old. And
what brought you here? Why did
well,
you come
I
here?
grew up outside of Hagerstown, Maryland, and the Highway 70 took our farm. I was raised on a dairy farm. There was 10 children. And we had to move. And so we moved to Berkeley Springs to a farm at New Hope, as a matter of fact. And my rest of my family were here 3 years, and I never left. So I was the only one left behind when everyone went back to Hagerstown.
And so you graduated Berkeley Springs High School?
No, I went to Berkeley Springs High School, and I went to the 11th grade. I had skipped the 6th grade. I went to Beaver Creek Country School, went into South Potomac Junior High School, and then Boonsboro High School. When we came to Berkeley Springs, my mother became very ill. Later we found out she had ovarian cancer. I had 7 brothers and sisters younger than me at home. So I left school at that time to take care of my brothers and sisters.
And you took care of your brothers and sisters here?
Yes.
But
here.
then they went back?
They went, when my mother got out of the hospital, which we all considered a miracle, and my mother's brothers and sisters helped her, and then she moved back to Hagerstown, and I ran off and got married. So I stayed in Berkeley Springs, and I've been here ever since.
And what was your work here historically?
Well,
I mean, what did you do for work here?
Well, I've done a little bit of everything. I worked at the Interwoven when it was a stocking mill, and so.
Where was that?
It's where the antique mall is now. And
what were they making?
They were making interwoven socks, and actually we used to make some for the military also down there. But they were very high quality socks. And then when they opened the factory in Hancock, London Fog, to make London Fog coats, I got a job there, and from there I become active in their union and become a union representative and traveled some doing that, and that's how I got interested in politics some, because I become part of a group that went around explaining to people why they should vote for certain people that supported working people. You know, that was voting their interest. Didn't have much to do with which side, but we just told which people were actually supporting their interests. And to do that, I went to a school in North Carolina to teach you know, how to be a union representative and so forth.
What school was that?
It was a school in North Carolina run by the AFL-CIO.
Okay.
I don't even know if it exists anymore. But
It
that's...
was a labor school.
Yes, it was how to represent somebody as a union representative, yes. And then when Morgan County started their first GED classes, I was one of the first people, and I got a GED in Morgan County when I was 30 years old. And a lot of people was very surprised when I came back. Most people would just assume that I had graduated from high school because I'd been involved in starting a kindergarten in Morgan County, been president of the Little League, and worked with a group to try to get better schools in the county. When my son started the first grade, the school he started, the top floor had been condemned as being unsafe. So I'd worked on a lot of community causes and so forth.
And
yes.
You went directly into real estate from there?
No, I had.
Yeah, let's hear it all.
All right,
I'm
well,
interested.
I went back to, after I took a GED, I got a letter from the state saying I should take further education. And when I was a union rep, we were doing daycare centers at the local factories for mothers that had to work.
You were organizing daycare
Yes,
centers. Okay.
yes. And I went to Johns Hopkins and took training and so forth about opening these daycare centers. So when I went back to school, I thought I wanted to like work for Head Start or something like that. And just by chance, my husband and I were selling a piece of property near Cape State Park. And I worked with a surveyor from Winchester, Virginia. And he said, I have a friend that would like to have a representative here to sell real estate, and I think you could do that. And I wasn't really interested at the time, but he came to visit me so many times, and I finally went to his office and talked with the people there. And of course, my husband always said, you could do it if you want to. So I started going to their Votech Center in Winchester to study real estate, and then I took the West Virginia courses, and that's how I got into real estate. It was just kind of a fluke.
When was that?
I was in 1971.
All right, so you've been doing this coming on to 50 years. You've been
Absolutely. I have my own business now for 43 years, yes.
And actually, when it comes to the library, as comes
Right.
with all public institutions,
Right.
it has to do with tax revenue.
Well,
Can we afford to pay for public facilities?
Well, we can, if this is my opinion about libraries. I mean, that's part of civilization. You know, they had libraries clear back in the time of the Greeks and so forth. So if we're a civilization, we must support our libraries. And today's libraries have a lot of technology. It's not just going in and getting a book, although people still do a lot of that. And I'm a firm believer that you can learn anything you need to know from a book. I'm an example of that because I have always been a ferocious reader in school, and I still read 5 books a week. So I just think if that's available to people and they have a thirst to learn, they can. I really believe that you can learn anything you need to know.
Would you say that the county commission is being uncivilized by cutting the library budget?
Well, I wouldn't go to that extreme. I think there's a limited amount of money. They probably don't put as much need about the library as I do and some other people, but and they weren't used to supporting a library. You know, they had a room in the courthaus. So
that's been 20 years now.
Right, but that was all the support they gave at that time. So this is a big difference of you know, having a building to support and so forth. And although the building belongs to the county and the building is paid for, so actually it's an asset to the county because the library cost $1.2 million. The original cost for the new edition was $960,000. And then we borrowed money to finish what we call the Johnson House, which put a new roof and insulated, put all new windows and so forth. So the total cost of the library was $1.2 million. And the people of this community raised that money and to build it and to pay it off. Now,
is it paid off?
It is paid off. We paid it off in 10 years. So that was something. Now, we wrote a lot of grants. I wrote a lot of grants. We originally got the $500,000 loan because Senator Byrd helped in that, and it was a low interest loan. But I just feel like the county should support the library more because the people want the library, and they've shown that time and time again by their support of the library. And I have no doubt we'll meet this challenge, but I would rather the library have a constant stream of support other than, you know, we're always in a panic stage now because we have to match this grant from the state or we don't get that grant from the state.
And when do you have to match it by?
Well, we're supposed to have it matched by November, but I've gotten an extension to the end of December because we're having a major fundraiser at the American Legion on November the 13th to raise money, and a lot of the communities come forward to help with that. And
It's the Legion on November
the 13th.
13th, which
at
is a
3 o'clock.
Sunday.
It's a Sunday afternoon.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. And the show is a USO show. So if you have never seen a USO show, or you have, it's going to be very entertaining. And I hope you can buy a ticket at the library or at my office. And the tickets are $30 a piece. And we'd love to see you there.
Okay, now these are local performers singing and dancing and doing whatever they're going to be
Yes, it's a lot of performers that perform here at the Ice House. Martha Lynch is helping direct that show, along with Larry Springer and Pat Springer. John Douglas is helping also. So, and they have supported the library, that same group of people, for a long time. And every year we do have a fundraiser, but about every 8 years we have what we call a major one, and we'll do a mail out. We mail out to almost everybody who owns property in the county, including the people that just have summer homes here. And they've been very supportive. Every time we have a major one, we do a mail out. We've gotten a lot of support from the weekend people who love this community and help support us.
Oh, so and I want to get into a little bit the economy of Morgan County, because that will help define whether there's a constant stream of income. But in the meantime, if someone's watching this and they want to write a check to support this, who do they write it to and where do they send it?
They can write a check to the Morgan County Public Library at, you can write it.
Just drop it off at the library.
Yeah, at the library. My address is 71 North Washington Street. Connie Perry at 71 North Washington Street, and I'll see that it gets to the library. Okay. But anybody wishing to help us, that's how you could help us.
And how much do we have to raise by December?
$39,000.
All right. So hopefully, and this county has a lot of people with money and who love books and libraries. So we should be able to do that.
Well, I think, yes, we should. And the biggest loss to us, and I would like to see the law changed, is about school. It was a law at one time, if a school board did a levy and they got the money from the taxpayers of the county, they had to include the library in those funds. And that's how we got the $33,000 at one time.
Wait, did they change that law?
They did change that law. When they formed the Library Commission, everything now goes to the Library Commission. But I think it was a good law. I think if the people of the county was willing to pay extra money to have additional things in their school system, we provide a lot of aid to the schools for different projects they're doing, and we want to continue doing that. It's very important. But I think that was an excellent law, because it helped the library we knew how much money we was going to have at that time. And it really, $33,000 out of the budget they have really wasn't that much money, but it was a lot of money to us at the library.
All right, let's talk a little bit politics, because you're on the Democratic committee, and the 3 commissioners are Republicans.
Yes.
And historically, that's not been the case. It's been a mix of people.
Yes.
Why? What don't you like about the commission? What do you think they could be doing better?
Well, I think part of the reason is a lot of people don't realize the state dictates how about 90% of the money is spent. The schools get 70% of the money, period, that come in from real estate taxes. The state then mandates that you have to fund every office in the courthouse, including the sheriff and all the various offices there, before you can give any money to any other organization. So that really don't leave a lot of money to spread around.
So that's like 3% of the budget.
Right.
Is discretionary. So you're saying there's nothing the commission can do anyway.
I wish they're, without expanding their tax base and so forth, or having, my personal opinion is the county owns too many properties. Some of these properties should have been left on the tax rolls or go back to the tax rolls.
Such as what?
Well, I did disagree about the old hospital spending a lot of money renovating it.
Should have sold it.
I believe we should have sold it and have to go back on the tax rolls. And because we need to have commercial things on tax rolls, so we're never going to increase our tax base for Morgan County. And the commercial businesses what increases your tax base a lot more. We've recently gotten the Tractor Supply store, and there was no deals made about any abatement of taxes or anything when they came to town. And
so there's going to be full taxes on that.
Absolutely, facility. And they are going to hire 15 people. They've already had 12. And that's kind of industry we're going to get here because we're a small county. We don't have an interstate highway running through the county. We don't have the infrastructure to even supply water and sewer and the things necessary to have a really large industry. It would be nice, but that's realistic. That's what's going to happen here. So if we have a lot of those, that would make a big difference to have that.
Your real estate business is primarily, just guessing on this,
Right.
out-of-towners, Baltimore, Washington, Pittsburgh, coming in looking for second vacation
Well,
homes.
a lot, and a lot of people are retiring here, and thank goodness for the retirees because they've been such a help in all the organizations in Morgan County. But that's our biggest market now is people coming here to retire and just moving here for that. Very little trading of houses among the local people right now because actually there's no one building. There's hardly any building going on in Morgan County right now. And the local people, but the husband and wife both work, that kind of house is not being built here right now. At one time it was, but it isn't now. So a lot of the houses are just too high for them to buy, which makes me very sad, but that's realistic right now. There's just not any building being done unless it's under contract.
Are you of the view, there's sort of like a
Right.
split view on
Right.
bring in industry, bring in as whatever you can in terms of business to build the commercial tax base, or the other is that might undermine the real beauty of Morgan County, keep it so that people want to come here as a place to live a simple, peaceful life. Are you on either side of that, or what's your view?
Well, we don't have zoning, so to have orderly growth, we don't have that. We do have a very active planning commission, but without zoning, that's what you have. You have people wanting to go certain places, and what has limited that now for Morgan County is we only have water and sewer in certain areas. So unless you can provide infrastructure for these larger businesses, they're not coming here. And so
there was talk of if it ever is going to happen, one of these
Right.
Walmarts or whatever they want to bring in, it's going to happen north of the sand mine so that people would come right off the highway and it would happen there. What's your thought on that?
well, they have.
Are you involved with that, by the way?
Well, I have been with Walmart several times, and they have done numerous studies, and they want so many people by their front door an hour to open a store. And what they have determined is the store in Hagerstown and Martinsburg and Winchester serves this area. And that's the reason why a lot of the bigger stores haven't come. They have to have so much money come in their door every hour to justify them having a store here.
How did Tractor Supply justify
Well, Tractor
it?
Supply was very interesting. I worked with them. I sold them the land. I helped them put together their project and present it before the Planning Commission here. But they did their study over how many cars go by. And our two-lane highway is the second most traveled two-way highway in the United States, 522. So a lot of smaller companies are looking for that because they figure so many cars go by their door, a certain percentage of them will stop. And that's how they decided
But that wouldn't work the same for Walmart?
Well, Walmart wants so many people in the door an hour. In fact, and Tractor Supply don't need that many people in the door an hour because they're not
Small.
Yes, it's small. And that's the kind of things I think we're going to get. We have several things in our industrial park, and we have water and sewer there to supply for people. But
What do you hear breaking news of a new one coming in?
I do not hear anything about a new industry.
Yeah, or a new Tractor Supply-like facility.
I'm not working on anything.
All right, there's
like
the
that.
sheets going in at 13 and
Yes.
522. What's going to happen to the old sheets?
They're keeping that. They're keeping
They'll both
that.
stay open?
They'll both stay open because Sheetz is building the news center because when a tractor and trailer drives through West Virginia, they have to buy a certain amount of gas. And if they don't do that, they have to pay the state of West Virginia the taxes the same as they had purchased the gas. So Sheetz got a lot of calls and things from the trucking industry about why they couldn't gas up in this section of West
So
Virginia.
it's going to be a monster sheets.
I believe it's going to be like a truck stop in a way.
So
Now-
it'll be one of those bigger sheets. But by the way, we had Bob Ford on
Yes.
here just a couple of weeks ago, and he said they were actually thinking of closing the sheets on Route 9. That's wrong?
That's, to my knowledge, and I've talked with the Sheets people, because they don't want to give up that corner. They have, this is people coming and going, coming and going. But as you know, the location it doesn't lend itself to tractor and trailers being gassed up there.
All right, so we got 2 Sheets in Morgan County.
I think we will, and I think we'll have them for a while. And I think at some point we'll probably get another dollar store. They seem to be, in this
Are they going to
market-
put it in at the corner of Oakland Road or 522? No,
I don't know. I just don't know. The
It's up in
Supreme
the
Court.
air. The Supreme Court gave it, but we haven't heard anything.
No, and I don't have any information for that at all.
Okay.
But I do think that's the size things that want to come here, and in economic development, I think it's really important to keep economic development. I served on economic development in Morgan County for 20 years.
We'll
And-
want to get into that, but
Okay.
we're running out of time. I
Okay.
just wanted to mention this. Until we get the county commission to
Right.
give the library what it needs, we need to raise some money. So November 13th, 3 p.m. Sunday at the American Legion.
Yes.
What's the ticket there?
$30 a
$30
person, and we're providing some food and some wonderful entertainment.
And it's helping the library. That's the key thing.
All the money's going to go to the library. My Bridge Club's providing all the food free, and other people are paying for the use of the Legion. So every bit of money we raise down there will go directly to the library.
And bring your checkbook in case you want to give more.
Please.
Thank you,
Please.
Connie Perry, for joining us.
Thank you, Russell. It's very nice being here.
And thank you for watching This Week in Morgan County.